Hi, my name is Robert Oncoy, English Language Educator for Level 4. Today, I will be your facilitator for this online presentation on oral presentations, task completion and delivery. This presentation is connected to your Week 2 Friday task, where you will present on a building that you and your team have designed. Today's presentation will cover two main points. Basically, I want to explain to you what we're looking for in a good quality oral presentation. So we'll look at how well you completed the task, first as a team, and then secondly about your poster or your model. We'll then take a look at the delivery and pronunciation part of your oral presentation task, as well as the language and grammar that you need to present it well. The second part of my presentation will look at some advice that I can give you on how to deliver it well. I know that some students have not done oral presentations before, so this will be a great opportunity to get some pointers on how to do well. So we'll look at pronunciation, gestures, and posture today. Let's begin with the task completion for your team. There are some key aspects that I as a teacher and you as a group or as a judge will be needing to measure from other groups who present to you. The first thing is timing. We want to make sure that your oral presentation isn't too long. This task only requires you to speak for about 6 minutes, maximum 10. If you're speaking longer, then either something must be going wrong. We also want to make sure that each person on your team has worked equally on this task. So when you're speaking, please make sure that each person presents an equal amount of information for your building. We're hoping that one person is not talking for 5 minutes while everyone else is talking for only 1. Please also make sure that you're presenting enough reasons for why your building is a great choice. We recommended at the beginning of the task that you should look for 6 reasons for why your building should win the award. And finally, make sure that each reason is supported with details like facts and explanations or even examples. Now, you're going to be presenting this building using one of two things, a poster or a model. If you're using a poster, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure that when you use labels on the poster that the labels are large enough for people to read and that they're well written. The labels should point out the features or the details about your building, for example, a rooftop, a garden, jacuzzi, etc. It should also be presenting the information in bullet points or very, very short phrases, not complete sentences. If you put complete sentences on your poster, the audience might get bored or they might not listen to you when you're presenting. Instead, they're going to read your poster. Please make sure that your poster is clearly organized and easy to follow. The audience should be listening to you so that you can walk them through the details of your building, but make sure that everything is organized well. If you're showing a model and you've taken the time as a group to build a nice model, then excellent, that will be an amazing presentation. But just make sure that you're using physical labels for parts of the building or the area. Also make sure that when you're speaking that you use discourse markers to help the audience follow you. Because a model doesn't have the same kind of information that a poster does, you have to use your voice well to indicate which reason you're on, what's an example, and what's an explanation. Please also make sure that you're clear about the number of reasons you're giving and who is presenting them. And finally, keep your sentences short. You don't need to give a speech, just keep it short and simple and easy for the listener to remember. Now let's talk about delivery and pronunciation. When teachers are marking students on oral presentations, these two categories basically ask these questions. How well was the message delivered? And was the pronunciation good, or did it hurt the presentation? For how the message was delivered, I'm talking about, are you using body language carefully to connect with the audience? For example, eye contact. It's very important to keep eye contact with the listener so that they feel that they are important to you. Are you using notes? That's not a problem. Just make sure you're not looking at your paper most of the time. Keep the eye contact on your model and poster and the audience, but mostly the audience. Please make sure you're using hand gestures well. We'll talk more about this in a moment. Now, your pronunciation is also key to keeping the audience interested. Are you speaking too fast or too slow? Are you speaking loudly enough and clearly? And finally, are you using word stress to stress the important points of your presentation? Language. Okay, remember, your job here is to impress the judges, so make sure you're using exciting exciting words and vocabulary like you're learning this week. Power words or adjectives would be great. Make sure that you're using a large range of vocabulary that you're learning this week and combining them well. Make sure that you've practiced well enough so that you're making few mistakes. But if you do, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. So now let me move on to giving you some advice. How do I do well on this oral presentation? So let's take a look at pronunciation and body language, which is the second part of my presentation. Okay, first of all, I want to talk about word stress. You'll learn about this again later in the course, but I want to mention it right now. In this sentence, just listen to me read it out slowly. The cat gives milk to its hungry kittens. The cat gives milk to its hungry kittens. If you listen to me carefully, I'm stressing certain words. The cat gives milk to its hungry kittens. English is a stress-timed language. That means we tend to put emphasis on the nouns and the adjectives in our sentences. That's because stressed words carry the meaning of our sentences. In other words, the key words. This is a useful tip when you're listening to recordings. We normally stress the nouns and the adjectives. You could try it out yourself. When you write out your part of the presentation on a piece of paper, underline the action adjectives and the nouns and practice stressing them when you speak. Now, some students will get nervous. This might be your first time speaking in front of a lot of people or working in a group. If you're talking too fast, you're probably nervous. One piece of advice I can give you to make sure you're not talking too fast or too slow is simply to breathe slowly and regularly. If you breathe slowly and regularly, you will be able to control the speed at which you talk. Next, use hand gestures. Make sure your hands are not in your pockets, like I see some students do, and that your arms are not crossed. Make sure that your arms are open and that the gestures you move are small. That way you do not distract the listener. This lady is keeping her arms open and she'll occasionally move her hands in and out. This is a good way as well to link with your breathing to control your speed. Finally, make sure that you're standing up straight but that you're relaxed and stay professional. Okay, to summarize, I've covered a few things. Word stress, key adjectives and nouns, these are the key ideas of your presentation. Breathe to make sure that you're not speaking too fast. And you could also use hand gestures while you breathe to control the breathing as well. Finally, please make sure you stand up straight, look confident, and this will help you deliver your presentation well. We'll be practicing this week, so thank you for listening. Feel free to watch this video again, complete the note-taking sheet, or if I've asked you to take notes online, complete the note-taking online, complete an online quiz if I've sent you a link for this, and we'll test this out tomorrow in class. Thank you very much.